All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to Playground Talks, episode 1. My name is Nick, and I have with me...
Isaac.
Yeah, we're Nick and Isaac, and we're going to just talk about current world events, what's going on with, masks and COVID cases rising, and what's happening with this new vaccine that's being rolled out, and, elections and other stuff like that.
All the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Yeah, but right now we're going to talk about the masks on, mask off situation. So, Nick, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the whole mask on, mask off thing, I think personally I would rather you wear a mask than you don't wear a mask, but masks are really there just to protect, other people.
Right.
If you notice, when you sneeze or when you cough, none of it goes out. That's for the protection of other people more than yourself, I guess. But, if you go for that theory, then, if everyone just wears a mask, no one would get it. I think it's also a coping mechanism that where people could have something physical to grab onto and say, look, I'm doing my part. I'm not going to get COVID now because I'm wearing this, when in reality, COVID won't really protect you. The masks won't really protect you as much, per se.
Yeah. And also, I feel like people are just like, oh, if I just stay inside forever and ever, I'm not going to get it. No, that's not going to work. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hate to break it to you. But it's, for me, I think of it's not a matter of how. It's just a matter of when you're going to get it. Because eventually everyone's going to get it. We're all going to have those symptoms. It's going to happen, It's either going to pass or, we may have COVID,
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like with the masks on, masks off, the masks on, masks off, definitely if you feel comfortable with a sense of comfortability, like you're like, all right, going back to what you said, I'm comfortable, I'm not going to get COVID, and I'm not going to spread this around or spread it to other people, But definitely it is the best option to do because you don't want to spread it, and of course you don't want to get it, but also I do think it is necessary and also unnecessary. Because people will be going in you want to go shopping for a little bit, you don't want to be sweating in your face because people are getting people have been breaking out in acne, and that's also something I've noticed really quick is that makeup products and acne products or facial products and stuff like that have gone through the roof in sales because of people wearing the mask. And I even remember, just real quick, an interview, this is totally off topic, but I remember it was for Spider-Man. Tom Holland was talking about how he had to wear the mask. He went in with a clean face, and every time he was sweating through the mask, he just had acne, and oh my gosh, but that's what I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I even seen, going back to what you're talking about with the pimples and breakouts, I used to work at Chronic Tacos, and so, we'd be wearing our masks for up to, 7-8 hour shifts, right, for our when we were working, and our manager had bought these cheap Chinese made masks. She bought a pack of 50 back when they were really hard to get, and I remember she was like, all right, you could either bring your own mask or you could wear our mask that we would provide to you. And so I was like, hell no, I'm gonna bring my own mask. I don't want to go through the trouble of going through all these masks. And so I brought my own, but for people who were wearing them, those cheap masks with the cheap elastic, they would actually get cuts, and it would cut and it would bruise up their ear.
Wow,
they're wearing
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were wearing it so much. I remember looking at one of the chefs, his name was Armando. He had his mask off and he had these two cuts, and they were open wounds on the side of his face because he's wearing these masks that have cheap elastic for up to 8 hours. He's moving in the back, he's cooking, and it's constantly rubbing up.
I didn't even know that. Wow. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, and I remember, after weeks and months of working with that mask, you would develop, I saw it myself, there would be acne, or I remember one time I was covering a protest that was going on in Huntington Beach, and it was 110 degrees. And I got home and I took off my mask and I had a mask tan, and it was crazy.
Yeah, I know, and it was even so sad. There was this Instagram post, and it was this little kid, and he had a mask on, and he was wearing it all day in school, and then he just took it off when he got home, and his face, the upper part of his face was just completely red, and then like along like where the mask was, it was just, there was an outline in it, and just like, oh my gosh, like you're going to school wearing a mask all day.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You might as well just continue with the online. There's no point. There's no point in opening up again. And what's the point of? What's up with Newsom? What's up with Newsom?
Yeah.
What's up with Newsom?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Can we take a moment to talk about that?
Can we?
Yeah.
Can we?
I feel like that should be addressed. I feel like, okay, going back. Well, do you have anything?
No. You go first. You go first.
Yeah.
I can hold it.
I through my coverage of the protests and everything, I've met a lot of people who are, very open with their beliefs, on both Republicans and Democrats who are very open about their beliefs, and obviously those two people are extreme difference. So sometimes I'd see on my Instagram, I'd see like, oh, F Newsom, like he's the worst, shut down California, and then I'd see also different people posting like Antifa stuff, and it's crazy when both people from the far right, who are like hardcore conservatives, they'd be the ones out in Huntington Beach waving their Trump flags, and people from the far left who are, very like, just extreme left, both hate Newsom. Like, that's a new low when you have both sides hating you.
I don't even get how you can get two sides to hate one person.
No. And dude, it's the funniest thing. For the past 18 days now, there have been protests outside of Mayor Garcetti's house in the morning for Black Lives Matter, and then people from Trump would come down in the evening outside his house. So for the past 18 days, Eric Garcetti has been having two protests outside of his house. One as he wakes up from Black Lives Matter, and one as he goes to sleep from Antifa. From conservatives. Yeah, it's... That must suck so much.
I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but I give a lot of credit to people who like plan these protests and then they go really either well or like, I don't know, but I hate to say that, but like they're practicing their Second Amendment right, freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So
First Amendment, yeah.
Sorry, thank you. First Amendment. And so I again, I don't see anything wrong with protesting, but going to someone's house.
Well, here's the thing. It's they're not only going to his house, like they're going to his house now every single day, now for 18 days. And every single morning, Black Lives Matter people wake up, those people who, want to support that and they want to block Garcetti from getting a cabinet position, they wake up and they march to his house. 18 days. That alone, they get there at like 9 a.m. All right? So every day at 9 a.m., that's happening. Then every night, you have conservatives who want to reopen California. They go to his house. The same house where in the morning there are Black Lives Matter people chanting, and they stand out there for like 2 hours just screaming. So that's what I'm talking about, bro. The dedication of these two people who could share, this whole year they've been divided and they've been fighting, but they could share that one common one common hatred for someone. That's what's crazy. That's what's crazy about this whole thing, bro. These two camps who for the entire year have just hated and shouted at each other. You see them in Beverly Hills and you see they're fighting and and then you see both of them get together in this one single act of unity. They both hate Garcetti. It's crazy.
I don't even know what to say anymore because I'm just like still at the fact that there are two different sides
who both go to his house.
What is our world coming to?
Yeah.
On God.
Yeah.
No. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm at the point where it's just like nothing can really shock me at this point. I'm
2020 bingo, dude. It's going wild. My bingo card is almost filled, bro.
Honestly, I'm at this point where it's like protest. It's just all protest, but I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. We have the super conservatives who don't want to reopen California. No, want to reopen California.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then we have the people, and then we have the BLM.
Yep.
And they're both going to this person's house, and they're both. So one at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then one at night before he goes to sleep.
At like 10 p.m. because that's when the curfew hits. They're called the curfew breakers, dog. So it's literally like, but see, it's for different reasons.
It's for different reasons, but it's the same. It's the same house.
Yes, dude.
I don't know what I would do if I was in that situation.
Yeah,
the level of stress.
Yeah, you can't please everyone, but
that's the toughest part about politics. You cannot please everyone.
The thing is, you can't please everyone, but you should at least please like one side.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
At least fix one side and then get to fixing the other side.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
But I find that mind-boggling that like people are just so like imminent about opening up California.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, yeah.
During COVID, you don't have anything to do. You didn't get that busy.
No.
But then again, it depends on who you are, what your job is, and if you're a what are they calling that? Like a what are they calling those workers? An essential worker. If you're an essential worker, that's a completely different scenario. Unless you're like a hairstylist or if you're a tattoo artist, those are two different things.
Oh yeah, well, because I mean, there's tattoo parlor. I don't feel like should be open. During COVID, but they shouldn't be. Right now, Newsom broke California up into 5 sections to monitor for ICU beds, and he classifies like personal care under like tattoo, nail salons, hair salons, all that stuff. They're all classified under the same thing. They shouldn't. Like, there's different needs for hair.
Yeah, because like personal care could mean so many things. Like that could mean therapy. That could mean physical therapy. Like I feel like he could have categorized it way better. Yeah. Way better.
Yeah.
And if he had done that, it would have been way different.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like, is it really that important for you to get like a haircut or your nails done?
Oh yeah.
I mean, is it gonna matter in the next month or so?
Yeah, like my brother, he's complaining all this time. He's like, I gotta get my hair cut. And he's like keeping up this like high maintenance hairstyle. And I'm like, dude, when COVID hit, like I shaved my head because I was like, a few days before the lockdown, because like we all knew it was coming. We all knew like, okay, everything's gonna be closed down, right? I think it was June 1st or something too. Like there was another reclosure. Yeah. I just said screw it. I'm shaving my head. Like
that's what I did.
I don't want to have to worry about getting a haircut. Or I'm tempted to just go back and shave my head right now. Like that we're in lockdown again. You feel me?
We have to go through it all over again. And
yeah, it's like you shouldn't be worrying about haircuts or like these are not normal times.
But then here's the thing: I've seen I've seen people cut their own hair.
Yeah.
And then they're complaining that they can't go to a barber.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you know how to cut your hair yourself. Yeah. Or if you don't know how to cut your hair, if you know someone, have them cut your hair for you. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to cut your hair. You gotta think outside of the box. Get creative.
Yeah. Well, and see, also the thing is, look, we are not in normal times right now. To sit back and say like I see some people, even my own family, who tries to act like these are normal times, and I just think about as a journalist covering everything that's been going down in 2020, these are not normal times.
Oh yeah.
And so, we're going through racial tensions. We just went through a really a high turmoil election season, right? We're probably going to enter more turmoil and civil unrest after the inauguration.
Oh,
and to sit back and be like, to see all of the U.S. burning down and to be like, I need a haircut right now.
Yeah, to think you need a haircut, come on.
You really need to sit back and see all this going on, and then your first thought is, I need a haircut. It's like, really, come on.
And I thought it was so funny. I mean, my dad like the first lockdown, in February. Yeah, in February. The first lockdown was in
March.
Thank you. In March, I remember my dad calling me. He's like, "Hey, just remember to make sure to, if you see any toilet paper, grab toilet paper." And I'm like, "All right."
Yeah.
And I had no idea that we were on I had no idea that there was a lockdown, and I'm just like, okay, but come on, toilet paper, you can.
Yeah, and see, the problem with that is there's the economic theory. I forget what it's called, but if you know, it's like the rule of scarcity.
Yes, a scarce resource.
It has to do with scarcity, and it's like,
yeah.
I think it's also distribution of resources.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It basically says, like, if everyone buys... if everyone were to buy just enough for themselves, everyone else would be able to get some. But people are naturally greedy and they naturally over hoard. And because they buy extra, others see people buying extra, so they start buying extra. And it's a domino effect until there's none left. You know, the
store is just completely empty.
Yeah. And so if everyone had just stayed calm and bought enough toilet paper for 2 weeks, they know how much toilet paper you use in 2 weeks. If you just stay calm and realize, all right, I'm going to buy enough for 2 weeks. I may buy enough for 3 weeks. I may buy a little bit extra, but I'm not going to buy, the whole stock of toilet paper. Like, I'm not going to buy a whole crate of toilet paper.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, my grandma, she called me and she was like, "Hey, can you go to Costco with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, Grandma." So I went to Costco with her, and like, my God, I saw this Hispanic family, and they had like 2 baskets full, or like 2 carts full of like toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like, that's all they had. Like, no food, just toilet paper. It's like, what?
And I remember, what is it? I remember I was thinking, back when school first went on when I remember this very clearly. It was March 13th, and I was waiting outside of my school for one of my homies to catch up to me, right? And I remember I was walking down the alleyway of my school. We had like a little street that ran through, and I was walking down that street, and I remember like there were cars parked along there, and I remember looking in the back of this person's trunk, and this was when, things were starting to get sketchy and people were starting to freak out, but it wasn't like a total freak out. And I remember looking back in the back of this woman's trunk, and I just see, like food, apples, and I just see like a ton of toilet paper. And I remember I was like, y'all really don't need that much toilet paper. Like, people are really like, now, that was when it clicked me. I was like, people are now going to start panicking, and this is when we're going to see, a lack of resources, a rise in meat prices, all that stuff. Because people start panicking, they start freaking out, But
I mean, think about it. There did go a rise in prices
because people started panicking, buying everything, running the supply up.
Yeah, because think about the stores now. They have to pay employees. Yeah. Then what happens is they have to be like, then they have to cut employees' pay.
Yeah.
So even think about that. Like, just you're right. It's a domino effect of everything. Like, anything you do affects everything. No matter what you do, it will affect everyone in a minute way.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, shoot, what was I gonna say? I totally forgot. It's about the lockdown. It was about, you were talking about prices rising. Shoot.
Were you talking about, did you want to talk about, like, I feel like I know what you were gonna, I know what your basis was, like what you were gonna say.
Because you were talking about, I said, that's why prices go up. That's why, because people panic. Oh, yeah. I remember what I was going to say. Mm-hmm. And so talking back to grocery stores, I think what this pandemic showed me, and it showed, everyone took away different things.
Yeah.
What it showed me is something very, like, interesting about the way that society works, because you look at these big cities, Los Angeles, New York, right? Like other, major cities, and Los Angeles and New York mainly because, they both had the spotlight on them during this pandemic. Mm-hmm. And you look at, like, let's just take a look at New York. Where is everyone living? In apartment buildings, they're all stacked on top of each other. People would do anything, to eat or to survive. And so they're going to these grocery stores, they're buying everything. But what if the trucks stop coming in? Like, what if the grocery stores aren't being supplied anymore? Mm-hmm. Would they know how to care for themselves? Would they know how to survive?
Yeah.
Let's say it hits the fan and suddenly, there's no food left. Mm-hmm. Do these people know, like, this is how fragile, like, the basis of society is? Because it's like, look at us. We're in a neighborhood right now. We're on a park set. But, like, if it hit the fan, like, would we know what to do? Like, would we be able to communicate with other people if things hit the fan? Like, would we be able to eat, survive, right? Like, and everyone laughs at these, like, you know, you watch these doomsday prepper TV shows, and everyone laughs at them. And you would think that in a capitalist society, the preppers would be like, the people supplying them would be like, yeah, buy more, because it helps their company. But they say, you know, stop buying our stuff. Or they say, you know, oh, all this stuff. And they laugh at these people. But during this pandemic, who were the people laughing at us? All the people who were prepared for this. You know, those doomsday
people who had inside information.
Yeah, and those people are going to be the ones who are going to be laughing at us when society falls, and, you know, we're left to prep for ourselves, we're left to fend for ourselves. They've already been ready for this.
But see, that's the best part about knowing that when we're ready for this is that we'll be ready for it. We'll know that we're not...
Well, you and I may be ready for it because we may see it coming. But other people who just, you know, go about their everyday lives acting like this is normal, are they really ready for, like, if like, we have to fend for ourselves?
If people are honestly living in the fact that, like, oh, everything is going to go back to normal in a couple months and I'll be okay. If people are actually thinking that, then I'm sorry, you're not using your head right.
Yeah.
Because you need to think long term, but you also need to think, you know, in the moment too. So, but if people are actually, like, going about their lives and not, like, taking the time to care, then there's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't stand rich white people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not rich white people. I can't stand rich people.
Mm-hmm.
Or people who are entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
I hate entitlement. That's just the one thing I cannot tolerate is people who think that they own something.
Yeah.
Let's take driving, for instance. People are driving. Everyone is driving. You do not own the road. Nobody owns the road. There is not assigned roads, okay, for nobody.
Well, I mean, taxpayers technically own the roads. We're the ones paying for it, but I understand what you mean. It's our road.
It's our road. This is a road.
On the streets, we live in communism because it's our stuff. We are the ones who pay for it, right? We haven't... But I get what you mean. Keep on going with your point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. And, like, people think that they're entitled to their lane or they're entitled to wherever they're driving, you know? And that's not true. And, you know...
They just drive recklessly like they own the place.
Exactly. You don't have the right to drive. It's a privilege to drive.
Yeah.
You have a privilege to drive. You are operating a vehicle that can...
Kill someone.
That can kill someone and that can injure you and other people.
Oh, yeah.
Or other people in your car.
Yeah.
You know? So, those are the people I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, those are the same people. I've had to deal with a lot of those people, and I think...
Of course.
Yeah, I've dealt with a lot of people, and with a lot of people I could generally get along with. You know, I may not like you that much, but I would still get along with you.
Yeah.
The one group of people who I just cannot, like, get along with or just do not like at all are those exact same people. And it's like, they think that they're entitled to something. They think the world owes them something. No. We don't.
The world does not revolve around you. The world keeps on spinning.
Yeah.
It doesn't wait for you. There is no designated time.
Yeah.
It keeps going.
I went to, I covered a anti-lockdown protest recently, and I'm going to one tomorrow as well, which should be interesting. But at this previous one, these protesters marched down one of the streets in my city, and it was just awkward. I've spent a lot of time covering protests, so I know what a good protest looks like, a nicely planned one at least. And this one was just the opposite of that. It was just awkward. They weren't saying anything. They just marched down it silently with, like, Indian tribal music playing. And then they reached the spot. They reached a spot on one of my streets. They make a U-turn, and of course it's right in front of this bank. And I feel like that says a lot, like, you know, I don't know. They stop right in front of this bank, and there's a homeless woman who's sitting on a bench. And these protesters...
You were telling me this.
These protesters all stand up on the bench around her. They're standing in front of this woman. They're standing behind her. And I'm looking at this happen, and I'm like, this is really weird. They're, you know, they're in a march to save, you know, people who they think are struggling. They're in a march to save business owners and restaurant owners, and I understand. These are hard times for those businesses. But they do this and they say they care about people, and yet they forget the people who are truly struggling.
The people who are actually struggling, the people who are literally living on the streets.
Yeah, and they ignore her. And so I published this photo, and I get all of these people who were attending that protest, like, DMing me, messaging me, and they're like, you're everything that's wrong with the media. And I went to high school with the organizer's son. The person who organizes, Trent Bryson. All right? Bryson Financial in Long Beach. Don't cut him any slack. And I'm going to say everything right here. The person who organizes, Trent Bryson, his son, I went to high school with him. And I knew his son, and his son messages me. And he says, you're everything that's wrong with the media. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, this subjects from the story. So I sent him the actual article that I wrote and published about the protest. I'm like, could you read the article that I wrote? Like, could you see anything that subverts from actual news? And he's like, well, you shouldn't turn a thing that's happy, into something that's not. And I look at him and I say, like, look, I don't owe you anything. Like, I don't owe you guys any story. I don't owe it to you, right? You guys, like, earned it, all right? And, like, I do it because it's what I love to do, but...
Yeah, you're like, you won't
I'm not
going to
release these photos. Like, of course I'm going to release it. You know what I mean?
That's your job.
And see, these rich white people have everything in life handed to them on a silver platter. So when something doesn't go their way,
they don't like it.
And then he said to me, he said, oh, you shouldn't turn something that's happy into something that's sad. And I said, I messaged him. I said, look, everything you have has been handed down to you from your dad, because he's a very rich, influential person. And I say, everything you have has been handed down to you from your dad. Everything that you've done, you did because of your dad, because he knows people and he could get him into things and do all this stuff. I say, everything you've done was because of your dad. And I said, look, you can't hold a flame to what I've done. Everything I've done is because I went out there and I didn't bitch about it.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what people like you and I do.
I posted a picture, and it was a really cheesy, stupid picture that I took on my camera, and I loved it. And you want to know why? Because I took that picture, and it was with the whole light fixture. I was messing with that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm loving it, because I worked hard for it, and I worked hard to get that.
Exactly.
So it was a little picture, but it was a big picture to me. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's like, look, it's different, and it's funny because the dad actually messaged me too. He said, find a family that's done more for the city than us. Find a private family that's done more for us.
For the city?
And
there are homeless.
And I said, what was it that I said? Actually, no, I didn't really respond to that to him because I want to remain, professional or whatever. But I was thinking, I said, because he mentioned his son, who I went to high school with, and I said, first off, your son hasn't contributed, I was thinking, your son hasn't contributed anything to the school, right? That wasn't given to him by you. That wasn't done through you. Yeah, he may have contributed a lot, but it wasn't his son's doing.
It was you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, look, I've worked for the school's newspaper. I uncovered, I've done a lot for my school through myself.
Exactly, because you took the initiative and you took the time.
Yeah, and it's like...
You took the responsibility.
I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, it was, because these entitled rich people. That's where I was going with. Everything they have is given to them.
Exactly.
And so they don't know how to work for things.
Exactly.
And it's like, I don't know, it's a whole can of worms.
I love seeing rich people struggle, because it's like, oh my God, like have you not worked a day in your life?
Yeah.
Like I'm so happy with where I'm at, because like I have to work for everything.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even though I have to work for everything, I'm happy with that, because I worked hard for it. I took the time to work for it.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Definitely.
And got it.
Definitely.
And I didn't half-ass it, and I didn't pay someone to do it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Exactly, bro.
God. People can't take the responsibility to do something. I mean, okay, look at right here. There are people literally mowing their lawn right now. They're taking the time to make their yard look nice.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
They're doing it because they want to.
Yeah, exactly.
They're taking the time to do something.
Exactly.
Clean your room. You can take the time to do something. It's 1, 2, 3.
Exactly, bro.
Come on.
What's our next topic?
I'm hungry, dude.
Yeah. It's your next topic?
What was our next topic? We were talking about fucking
Rich white. That's why they say eat the rich, dude. You saw those memes? It's like when you're eating the rich and like there's no Spotify ads or something, and he points the fork at you. That's why it's eat the rich, dude. You know what I mean? Eat the rich. Yeah.
The rich and heinous.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about the election.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Want to go first?
You can go first.
All right. Okay, so isn't it funny how all of the sudden, all of it was red, and then all of it was blue?
That's how election maps work.
I know, but isn't it funny?
Well, okay. So let me explain that. The reason that all those states were red in the beginning is because Donald Trump told his voters to not vote by mail. Right? He told them to go to the polling centers and actually vote. That's why you see a large vote by mail percentage is for Biden, because a lot of the Biden supporters, want a lot of the people who voted for Biden are a lot more cautious about COVID-19 than those who voted for Trump. I feel like that's pretty known by now, right? And so they actually voted by mail. And that's why a lot of the early counts were for Trump, because they're counting the ballots from the election centers. And then later on, they switched to Biden because they're seeing, these mail-in votes and everything.
Okay, actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. So, now, what did you think about their statements during the whole debate?
Oh, dude, I don't know. It's tough because it's like, I feel like the first debate, we're going back like 3 months now. Gee, that was back in October. Oh my gosh, it was so long ago. The first debate, nobody won that one.
I know, nobody.
That first one was rough, and it's hard because it's like, I want to vote for someone who I could actually get behind.
Exactly.
I want, I won't. If I were to vote for Trump, I'd be like, okay, I want to actually be able to say like, I could get behind this person and his policies. And the same went for Biden. I was like, I wanted to see a candidate that I could actually, stand by. And that first debate, no one really showed me anything.
Yeah. Even like my parents were talking to me. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna vote for Trump?" Like they're automatically thinking that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna have an opinion, And like I'm not saying that I voted for Biden or that I voted for Trump. I'm actually not gonna say who I voted for. But it's like.
Yeah.
I just I think with the whole first one they just wanted to get at each other. I just think they wanted to.
Yeah, and because it was so hotly, like, it was so
hostile.
Everyone was like, oh, dude, because like it was like they've never been together on the public stage before, right? And obviously with everything that's gone down in America over the past year, I would want to see how they would, discuss it with the other side too.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
It was like a WWE fight going in. Like
it really was.
You're
seeing with their voices, for sure.
You're seeing all these posters of like the WWE mashup, where it's like Trump on one side, Biden versus the other. You might as well have their like weight class and all that too, bro. Like,
yeah, Photoshop a gym in the background.
Yeah, dude, WWE, bro. That's what they were like, everyone. But none of them really showed me anything that I was solid with,
Yeah. And then it was like getting to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna vote because like I don't feel comfortable voting,
Yeah.
But I ended up voting, and it was like because like it was also the pressure because people were just like, oh, if you're gonna vote for Biden, you don't care about.
Yeah.
Then,
I saw that a lot too.
Like my friend was like, oh, if you vote for Trump, all you care about is like money and shit like that. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, if I vote for Biden, then like you care about the people. I'm like,
don't make it that way.
What?
And it's like, yeah, I feel like I definitely saw a lot of that, and it's just because of the way our country is. We're we're so polarized and we're so divided where it's like
we really are.
Where it's like I can't even go to church without like, you know, a place that's supposed to be spiritual and where I'm supposed to only be focusing on God. I can't even go to church without hearing, you know, election stuff or who'd you vote for? And it's like, we're at church right now. Like, don't focus on that, you know.
Which is funny that you bring that up, because it's like, if you go to church, if you're a Christian and you're worrying about the election. No. You're not supposed to. Not that you're not supposed to worry about it, but like, we should put that, you know, in God's hands, because ultimately it is.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that like, you know, I'm a Christian. I've been covering a lot of these things, and it's easy to get overwhelmed and stressed out. But at the end of the day, it's realizing like, look, like this isn't the final thing, you know. And it's like, look, there's so much more, and this may seem important now, but you know, in 100 years, looking back on your life, like, is it really gonna be?
Is it really gonna matter?
And let's be honest with ourselves. Like, everyone was saying, "Oh, Trump's gonna destroy America." I'm still in America. Like, things are perfectly fine.
Like, we're still alive.
So, if you think about it, is America gonna drastically take a 180-degree turn after Biden goes into the office? No. Not a lot's gonna change. You know what I mean? So nothing's gonna change. There's gonna be no justice reform because Kamala Harris, you know, ex-cop. But like, you know, nothing's gonna get changed. No, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Kamala Harris, she's got to stick up her ass. I'm sorry. I have nothing against women politicians. Okay, that is not what I'm saying. This is not a sexist thing. This is not a sexist thing at all. I want to make that very clear for the people listening. Just the things that she has said and some of the actions that she has done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. And
even the way she has addressed certain people too. So I don't know. I don't. There's a whole nother bag there, but I just think with the whole election, it got to the point where even my little niece, 9, she's 9, okay, she can't vote yet. She doesn't even have a phone. And she's telling me, I'm worried about the election.
Oh, wow.
And she was telling me, I want Biden to win, you know, because she cares about the people. And I'm like, wow, that's so sweet. Like, that's awesome. Like, a 9-year-old has an opinion.
Yeah. But it's like, you know, I see all these things on TikTok and all, like, Instagram, too, where people are like, go vote. You know, this election matters. You're like 15.
Yeah, you're 15. You
know
don't
what
need
I mean?
to vote.
And also, you know, you shouldn't be suppressing other people and, you know, making fun of them for who they vote for.
You shouldn't even be suppressing the child audience.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and unless they're interested, unless for some reason your child is interested in politics and they want to be a politician, by all means, you know, that's a complete different story.
Let's see, if you think about it, like social media and all that is a form of like election, has a lot of like election power within, you know, the election. Because look, what did you see on TikTok, you know, the first few months leading up to the election? All Biden-Harris, you know, all pro-Biden, anti-Trump stuff. So you have these people who may be voting for the first time, people like me who's on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, look at all this, you know, Trump must be a racist, Trump must be evil, Biden must be.
I saw like, one of them that said Trump must be Satan.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay, so, you know, TikTok is pinning Joe Biden as this superhero man, and
Trump, as this angel,
and that has a lot of, you know, and they're just saying it without any facts or anything at all.
They have nothing to back up their
and I'm not saying those claims are wrong. Those claims may be right. You know, who knows? If I put on TikTok, oh, you know, Trump deports Mexicans. Yeah, that's a true fact. You know. But you also look at the previous president, you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
And it's like you have these young people who just aren't doing their research, going off of TikTok videos. It's dangerous.
Yeah, and like the worst part is like my family, very open about I don't even know what they are, but they're very open and they're Trump supporters. I'm just gonna say that they're Trump supporters. And my cousin, she came up to me and she was crying and she's like, I want Biden to win, but like your family's making fun of me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, my family is making fun of my cousin because she has an opinion. Like, how sad is that?
Mm-hmm.
How sad is it the fact that my cousin is coming to me and she's telling me, I just feel like you're the only one I can trust because you don't judge me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, why is my cousin coming over here talking to me about this, about the election?
Yeah. Sorry, 1 second.
No, you're good. And, you know, it like, I'm just like, absolutely, like, it kind of pissed me off, you know, because I'm just like, she doesn't need to be worried about this. She doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, not that she can't be concerned with it or anything, but like, she's too young yet. You know? I hate to pull that card, but it is like she's just too young to understand, and like that's like the saddest part about it.
Mm-hmm.
How are we doing on time?
We are doing good. It's at 40 minutes right now.
We're at 40 minutes. Oh
Yeah.
shit!
It's gonna be a long podcast, man, but it's gonna be worth listening to.
Yeah.
All
for
right.
sure.
What else?
Anyways.
Yeah. Anything else we want to talk about?
Well, we also wanted to talk about we talked about the masks.
Yeah.
We talked about the election. We talked about what's his name? Senator Sin?
I'm gonna have to censor that, but okay.
Sorry, Gavin
Yeah.
Newsom. And then is that it? Is that all we were going to talk about?
I think so.
Is this the end of the first podcast?
I think it is. Yeah, this is the end of the first episode.
Well, tell us what you guys think, and
All right, see you guys.
see you guys.
Peace.